Hello, I want to welcome you all to this executive briefing webinar. And you might wonder why me is talking to you out of Munich. My name is Lutz Jannausch. I'm leading the business application partner area in Germany. And I have the great pleasure to host today a one-click factory executive briefing with my wonderful guest here, Agne. Welcome, Agne.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, it's a great partnership that we, as Microsoft, has together with One Click Factory, and so we thought, it totally makes sense to invite One Click Factory and use our facilities here in Munich in the Microsoft office to showcase you our way how to advance together with Dynamics 365. And we are not alone. We are together with Soren, who is helping us in giving you an overview about the great capabilities of one-click factories and the great possibilities and opportunities that are laying in our Dynamics platform.
And our agenda today is going to be, first of all, Soren will introduce One Click Factory. Then Lutz will take part to present partner opportunities and strategies and strengths with Dynamics 365 finance and operation. And then it's going to be my part actually to take some points into the upgrade, migration, and reimplementation differences and strengths and the way to choose between them.
And finally, we have a big Q&A, and this is something that One Click Factory introduced me to, that this is really the main area where you can ask a lot of questions, and we have some specialists that are taking up these questions and answering these questions. So, but we will start with Soren. I hope, Soren, you can take over right now, and let's open up the mic for Soren. Soren, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, perfect.
I can't switch the slide.
But I will switch the slide for you. That's no problem.
Okay.
Perfect. And I try to give you the Steuerung. You should try it now. It should work.
Okay, let's try anyway. Let's get started.
Perfect.
So welcome everybody. My name is Soren Fink-Jenser and I'm the founder of One Click Factory. It's a company that started in 2009 with the focus of creating services for Microsoft Dynamics partners. And basically what we have been doing since then is building a set or a large number of standard services to support partners. We support both the Dynamics 365 Enterprise or Finance and Operations platform, the Dynamics 365 Business Central platform, and then we have a .NET business as well, where we mostly develop websites and integrations, and we base ourselves on the content management systems of Sitecore and Umbraco. So within these three areas of or product areas, we do services, upgrade services, from older versions to new versions, and this is where Agne will be talking specifically today. We do development services. Lately, this has mainly been helping ISVs moving their applications from traditional add-ons into extensions. And then we support partners on our services. And then we are a very large provider of Azure services, where we help partners provision their customers on Azure, mostly in the Business Central area and the Sitecore area.
Should work now. It's quite a long line to Lithuania.
Well, I'm in Copenhagen.
In Copenhagen. Oh, come on. So you're watching the game tonight?
It's actually on right now.
Oh, so sorry, I do not want to disturb you.
No.
Hurry up.
It's okay. It works now. Thank you. So in One Click Factory, we have a software factory in Vilnius, Lithuania, where we build most of the software. We are 70 plus experienced consultants and developers, and we have a very high degree of certification. Most of these people, at One Click Factory, are engineers. And the high degree of certification, of course, have also led to our gold competencies, both in enterprise resource planning, in the cloud platform, which is Microsoft Azure, and in application development, which is really around .NET. Our business model is really to help partners. And we have kind of 4 pillars that we have built our concepts around. The first one, which I think is very important, is reducing the financial risk for partners. And we do that by fixed scoping and fixed pricing as much as we possibly can. We also have fixed price on our Azure services. And that way, the partners that work with us know clearly what they're getting. That's one part of it, but they can also make sure they make the right amount of money on it by applying the right level of margin on top of that. Then we increase scalability. The way we think about that is that if you have areas where you lack competencies or you want to expand your competencies, but you're not ready to make the investment yet, many times we can help you within those specific areas and take the first steps to scale your business further. We operate very much with the help of tools that we build over the years to make ourselves more effective, and that can also help us shorten the project time on certain deliverables. And then, of course, in some cases, you run into capacity or capability issues, and there as well, one of the solutions that there is on the market is One Click Factory and the many development engineers that we have. So those are the 4 key pillars. As a company, we have the software factory in Vilnius, but beside that, we have sales offices where you see the red dots. The yellow dots is where we support Azure data centers currently, because that is expanding every year. And the dark blue areas on the map is really where we have been servicing partners since we started in 2009. And as you can see, it's quite a lot of countries. In 2017, we actually serviced 313 partners across the world with our services. Last year, an interesting thing happened. Microsoft appointed 5 or 6 Microsoft ISV development centers on a worldwide basis. And these ISV development centers were appointed within the Microsoft Dynamics area. And they were really to help partners and ISVs move into the new world of cloud and also extension technology and Azure technology. And what we get from Microsoft by being in Microsoft ISV Development Center is access to early versions of products and access to specific training in areas where Microsoft thinks that we need to help and scale out knowledge to partners. Of course, we also do an investment, so it's not only getting something, we do an investment into the time of our engineers. But the ISV Development Center has given us a number of new capabilities, so we can help scope what it takes to move from an add-on or from a solution with customizations built in an old way to extensions. We can train you in how to develop extensions. We can help with the Microsoft tools and also with writing automatic test scripts if that is needed for your solution. We can help you with the analysis and so on and so on. Lots of areas where we can support you in your move forward into the world of Dynamics 365 finance and operations.
And probably I can tap into here because Microsoft ISV development centers are for us a really integral part to scale through partners and with you partners there, because I think we push a lot and we support and we really use your services in a great extent to help our partner channel to scale, and it's a big part of our own investments in our marketing go-to-markets to go together with development centers and connect partners to development centers, so we speed up the development of new solutions and applications on our Dynamics 365 platform. So
that is very correct. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lutz. And then a bit about our experience. We established the Axe division of our company in 2012. And since then, we have been working with 40 different Axe partners on many different kinds of projects. We've done more than 19,000 hours of development. And in the last year, we've done more than a couple of thousand hours of development, focusing very much on helping partners on the extensions and how to move there. And we've delivered more than 40 upgrade projects, and all of them rather large projects, as the Axe projects are. And this is what has given us the knowledge and the experience to help and support you on Dynamics 365 Enterprise. So with that, I'll hand over to Agne or to Lutz, who will talk a bit more in general about the Dynamics 365 finance operations opportunities and strategies.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Soren, for the introduction. And as said, I think we have a really close relationship, and that's why we are all here together in this new setup in Munich. And I would like to take the chance to give you a little bit of perspective. And yes, that's my perspective. That's my son, Benno. 2 years ago, my wife gave birth to Benno, and really literally everything in my life changed through that. And in this 2 years, he learned to walk. He started to sleep through the night as well recently. So he's now as well able to use his bike, a really small bike, but he is. So a lot of things change, and these 2 years, they just get away like nothing. And it's interesting because it's not only him having his 2-year birthday, it's as well our Dynamics 365 operations platform having his 2nd year anniversary. And it's crazy because somehow, like Benno, and you see him now here, 2-year-old, having already being almost grown up, I would say our Dynamics 365 platform is already really grown up. And in these 2 years, we learned a lot. And you might have been to learn a lot as well as partners. So, but where did we start? From Microsoft, we started with that we wanted to disrupt actually the CRM and ERP space and introduce a new model how we go to market with our offerings and how we can as well work with this whole platform idea and how we bring this platform to market. So we scrapped actually CRM and ERP, we combined everything, and we gave birth to Dynamics 365. And you all know this because we started some years ago, but what does this mean for operations and finance and operations? And I think there we really can have a look on our 3 different areas where we're focusing on. If you look at our companies and and our customers, they more or less always have an area where they take care about their customers. They have their own employees where they need to deal with, and they have their own products that they want to sell to their customers through their employees. And this is nothing special, but the special beauty of our concept of the Dynamics 365 comes into place that we take all of these areas into our thinking, and that we try to develop a solution which is really targeted to all these different areas. And not only to the areas and the people who buy things, or people who produce things or products that we make, we also take into account the digital feedback loops and the data which is transferred between this inner customer. And for operations and finance operations, there's a lot of things happening around products. So, from designing a product up until selling the product, our classical Dynamics 365 operations, and back then the AX is a big product suite totally fitted to that. The interesting part now with Dynamics 365 gets into play that we not only use this big ERP product that we developed over the last years, but we only give it actually a much more integrated on the Dynamics platform, a much more integrated use of it, as we help our clients move their production facilities, to move them, for example, to really not only sell products, but sell services. So we help customers transform their business, and especially with Dynamics 365 for operations finance, we help them transfer their manufacturing and productions area, and as well their retailing. So this is just a short intro on that, but this all comes back then into play if we look at our business platform. And the beauty of the business platform is that our whole product platform is based on Azure and on all other Microsoft technologies that are integrated into Azure. And all of a sudden, customers that are start to use this platform can profit from investments that we already have taken in artificial intelligence, in Power BI or other areas, and they can use this power of the whole Microsoft platform and ecosystem only by starting to use Dynamics 365. And if we look back 2 years, now we see already a big uptake in customer adoption around the globe. And we all know that it was a rocky start, I would say, and that the platform was a real step. But the feedback that I get from partners in Germany, or as well from customers, that they all really like the vision and our work that we did in enabling this platform for you to develop solutions for the customers on this platform, and that they really want to step in there and to go the way with us. And the interesting thing now is, what's the path or the route that I, as a customer that probably already has a Dynamics AX practice or a solution, how do I get there to this paradise? And on the other side, you as a partner might ask as well, how do you move your solution to this new platform? How do you probably migrate customers onto Dynamics 365? And all of this had a lot to do around as well using the right tools and use our development centers that are helping you in doing that. That's why Agne will now give you an overview about the possibilities One-Click Factory has in helping you actually moving your customers to our new platform.
So hello everyone again. I'm Agne Pelaniene. I'm running IX division at One-Click Factory. And today we join forces with Lutz actually to discuss what's following when you have such huge and nice solution. So how to get there? And probably this is the main question that everyone was asking for the couple past years. First of all, nobody knew how to work with it. When we figured out how to work with it, so now how we can get there. And there are three questions to be answered and considered actually to upgrade your old solution, to migrate only data and merge with existing standard solution, or to re-implement it from scratch and go the same way as you did, 4, 5, maybe 10 years ago. And it's always, there's no one right answer. It's always everything about investment, everything about timing, and everything that fits you the best. So let's try to discuss a little bit the factors that's supposed to be considered when you're choosing your project. And project type, first of all, because at the end of the day, it will affect actually the team composition, the complexity, the load on your resources. So first of all, first thing that's supposed to be considered is actually how organization changed during the years, how much business processes changed. Are you on the same level as you used to be 10, maybe 15 years ago, like you are now, maybe still in IX version 4? And are the new areas of D365 supposed to be implemented, and why? The second question to be discussed supposed to be about database and database consistency and how big it is, how consistent it is, how many changes in data you would like to have, or you like to have it in general. The third question is about the customizations, because most of the processes in every single project of IX solution was based off huge amount of customizations, and the processes were extended quite heavily, especially in the companies that were running version 4, maybe version 9. And those customizations to move forward sometimes might be very useful, sometimes might be very costly. Also, existing functionalities might replace not only customization itself, but the business process, how you are working at the company of today. And sometimes change business process is easier, sometimes it's more costly, depends on how big your organization is. The fourth pillar to consider is actually ESVs that you are partnering at the moment, and how ESVs are adapted to a new platform. Are they going for Microsoft certification and easily adapted on the cloud platform on extensions? Are they still supported? Maybe the ESV solution that you are using today is already replaced by standard Microsoft integration in the cloud. So all of this analysis is supposed to be taken in consideration when you move. And the last but not the least is, of course, budget, resources, timing, and everything that you have to put together. So today we will move more into the more technical questions when considering, and we think that there are three different types of the projects. So it's upgrade project, it's migration project, where you migrate your database but apply standard solution, and re-implementation project. Probably we will not talk about the version 2.5 or version 3 that are pretty old, and if customers are still on those versions, they will go directly re-implementation path. But we can discuss 3 other versions like IX4, IX9, and IX12. So what to do if you are on IX version 4? So we see that 3 options are possible. One is re-implementation. Another is upgrading IX4 to IX9 and performing data migration to D365 using standard tools, or performing 2 upgrade projects from IX4 to IX2012 and from IX2012 upgrading to D365. Because direct upgrade is possible only from the version IX2012. And actually this, it will put you into 2 projects of upgrade. Actually, I'm presenting a slide of quite a number of details that you can read of them, but probably the main considerations are that as AX4 is quite old, and if you were developing it a lot, it might be that about half of customizations don't have any more reason anymore. Half of ESVs maybe are not supported anymore, and you in general have to reconsider your project from scratch. Sometimes, especially in some markets like South Africa, for instance, they really want to carry over the history and historical data. And in such cases, of course, upgrades supposed to be taken in consideration. However, 2 testing cycles supposed to be processed. One during upgrade from AX4 to 9, and another from AX9 to D365. And it can be, at the end of the day, pretty costly. Another scenario, if you are on the version AX 2009, again, we have an implementation possibility. Then we can talk about migrating data and database structure and merging it with standard D365 functionality and maybe some new modifications on extensions. So this project is called migration. And of course, the third type of the project where you upgrade to AX 2012 and from AX 2012 directly to D365. And actually, migration or upgrading becomes more real in such type of the projects. And if you want to get value of your Power BI solution and all this connection of different tools that cloud provides at the moment, so migration of database or even upgraded could be an option, because if you will do reimplementation, you will have to start designing your modifications again from scratch, and you will lose some historical data that will take some time for you to get the right KPIs on the board. And now you are on AX 2012. Again, we can talk about reimplementation, or we can talk about upgrade. Direct upgrade is possible only from AX 2012 R3 CU8. So even if you have a little bit later version of AX 2012, you might consider you're supposed to go through 2 steps. You have to lift the version a little bit up to R3 CU8 and then directly upgrade to D365, because direct upgrade path pretty much possible only from that version. However, you still have to do some considerations. So if you are free to upgrade, your implementation finished, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, so probably upgrade would sound quite tasty. And then you can use standard Microsoft tool. The cost of the project itself is not going to be pretty high. But if you did a lot of customizations, or maybe your implementation was pretty heavy, so you probably might consider to do some adjustments in between, or maybe even sometimes reimplementation project. But let's say you are pretty happy with your solution, but you are on AX 2012 version R1 and using warehouse that is oldish for today. And you would need to reimplement about 20% of your project. So what about, is it upgrade or is it reimplementation, or maybe it's both? So there is type of the project that sometimes is better to do 80% of solution to upgrade it with all the data that you have, with all the solution that you have, but reimplement only one part of the solution. Usually there is, when you have warehouse management that you have to reimplement in the middle of the implementation, but it allows you to keep your all transactional data and all the processes that you implemented only a few years ago. The model itself looks like you upgrading all your data, all your database framework that you modified. You even move most of the customizations and reimplement only one part. This open balances, let's say, in the data warehouse. And now, upgrading. So what does it mean for D365 to upgrade? Because I believe all of you know new extensions framework, and that from the end of April, you cannot modify anymore in overlaying. So pretty much every upgrade project will end up in refactoring stage. So refactoring stage is presented in my slides, and it means that as soon as you will move your code base to D365, every modification will have to be refactored on extensions. So now how to save the budget? Saving the budget, you have to do some cleaning up of the modifications, to revise your localizations, to revise reporting, to revise everything with the new features and functionalities, and migrate only what's necessary and refactor those modifications on extension that really required for your business. It will allow you to save, I don't know, from 20 to 30% of the project upgrade budget. Actually, those questions and those topics that we are talking to our partners pretty much came out from our experience. Because most of the partners, they are afraid of upgrade project. Some of the partners don't know how to save databases and transactional data, and how to get the best value out of overall Microsoft framework. And actually, you never know while you're not getting into the detailed analysis of your code base, which is the best. Sometimes the implementation project is cheaper, sometimes upgrade project is cheaper, and actually you have to measure them both. So I would like to close my part of the sessions, actually calling you probably to partnership with us and with Microsoft, and to start discussion about what would be the best approach actually for your project.
Great. Thank you, Agne, and this was just a way, how so partner can just contact you, send the projects in the database, and you just give them advice on that.
Actually, we have a tool that we used for our upgrade projects, where we perform estimation for an upgrade project. It takes for us about a week, but we are opening the source code, getting it class by class, form by form, and calling a partner for 1 day or 2 days workshop with us to discuss every single object in the code base and provide them the estimation and the risk of the project upgrade or project reimplementation, and then partner actually by pretty much having 1 week of waiting and another couple of days or 3 days of investment together with us, actually to have the scope of the project and understand the risk and how they're supposed to build the project plan going forward. So this is the tool that Soren was talking that we were investing for years, and now we're using it actually for that.
And what I learned before, where we had a talk, was that actually, you have a total process behind that. That I think it's the interesting thing. It's not that somebody is sending you an email and then 1 week later you're answering it like, there's really a process behind it. People working with. You have a queue. You said you're based in Lithuania, but you have a kind of a Nordic working attitude. So
yes, so this is one of the probably culture-based. So this is one of that we're pretty much proud very much. So we are based in Lithuania, but based of our CEO Soren and the territories that working with, and most of our projects that we're doing in Sweden, Denmark, Norway, and Finland. So overall, company is very much based on the Nordic attitude. That even all the management team, we're working in the company 7 years from company start. So we're still keeping the culture. And talking about the process-based, we're trying to save partners' time as much as possible. And actually, most of our services can be ordered online. Even best path assessment here, as you see in the slide, that you can just log in, create a project, request best path assessment, and we will contact you like in 2 hours asking for missing details, and in another 2 days we will have already preliminary estimate that we will continue talking with you about. So it's pretty fast. Especially it's very, very good for the partners who don't have much experience, and they inheriting the customer from another partner, and they don't know what is behind it, and actually really to understand how good or bad the code base is and what to do with it, because normally documentation might be not enough. It was developed over many years, and actually everybody kind of has to be on the same page together with the customer and the partner. Some partners from Sweden, they even carrying partner together the customer for 1 day or 2 days workshop with us to discuss and to show what the customer has, because even customer in most of the cases, they're not really sure about the how heavy solution they have.
But you never go direct with a customer?
Never.
Never, ever?
We always match the story with the partners, and we are advocates of the partner, and we never talk with the customer without a partner.
Cool, great. Wow.
So can we move to the question part?
Sure. Let's open up for questions. So, are there any questions? No, there are no questions yet. That's crazy. Then I'll probably ask you a question.
Okay.
You said like that you work a lot with Nordic customers, and you know, we in Germany we always get the feedback from around the world that we are really slow in adopting cloud solutions. Do you have a few, you know, around Europe? Is there, you know, how do you see the different countries? Is there lots of demand in Sweden or Nordics compared to other countries? Or
yes, in the past 9 months, probably past year, it became very much of an interest in the corporate type of the customers. And as myself, I'm running quite a lot of workshops on application. So it's a huge demand on the customer IT teams to get know D365 to be introduced, because they are building internal teams of process owners and first line support.
Okay.
And what was kind of even for me a little bit surprising, because everyone was very careful with the cloud at the beginning, but even huge corporations in Denmark and in Sweden, they implementing cloud. And as you said, it was a bumpy road at the beginning. The ones who started a year ago, they probably might have worse experience than the ones that have now. But they are brave enough actually to go. They have quite big Microsoft support in-house because they're huge companies, and Microsoft really supporting them. And actually, they are starting pretty well. I know a couple of customers that are already live with the first iteration, and they are moving more into business cycle, like project management, production implementation, retail implementation, and so on. So, of course, everyone is waiting for the success stories, or even not success stories.
Okay.
But actually, the demand is high.
So because that's the same, I can probably give feedback from Germany. I've been just last week on a big ERP conference, and the feedback from an analyst was actually that he sees this whole trend and how we build our platform as a really plus against all the competitors. And I got really good feedback from partners and customers as well that say, hey, you know, we are probably already on using Dynamics, and now we need to know what's the next step and how is our migration or upgrade path. So I see it as well. And as we just talked about some of the customers you are working with, I know several of them are big automotive customers from Germany, but with their local entities probably in the Nordics. So I think, you know, this is really something we see there right now, which is happening.
Yes, and the customer, they first of all, they really like a new interface, like it, especially users, they like it very much. It also gives quite a number of control for internal teams to manage how interface looks like for actual user at the end of the day. In addition, everyone is very fond of Power BI capabilities and actually how to get it easy, and especially when we compare with all old Excel pivot table that we had. This is nothing to compare, is that easy. Office integration, again, finance people just kind of love it because this is how they used to work, and this capabilities that they have so easily integrate Excel with IX, actually, they just love it.
Great, cool. So, if you have a question to Agne or to Soren or to our product management, which is as well sharing here in the call with us, just feel free to ask us any question. Otherwise, you will be at Inspire as a One-Click Factory, I know.
Yes, we will be at Inspire as One-Click Factory. Then there will be my technical senior people at Summit Conference in Seattle.
Summit.
Yes, at the end of July. Yeah, so we'll be there. Feel free to kind of contact us, and actually we'll be happy to have a short discussion, cup of coffee, glass of wine.
Okay, perfect. So I don't see right now if there are any questions coming, but I don't get any notice that there is to be some. Frank is writing something. I just have to check. Have a seat. No questions right now. So it's 4:45. So we're pretty fast today. But I hope you liked it here in Munich, in our office, and then being part for the first time here on TV.
There are questions coming in.
Perfect.
Right now.
Great.
Yeah.
Are there? Great.
We got one about industrial-specific reference cases upgrading from AX 2009. Are there any?
I think so. At the moment, there are not some that I can talk loud and clear, but I'm pretty sure that actually they will appear at least on One-Click Factory website in the next maybe 3-4 months, because we are now just collecting them. Of course, it takes time actually to perform. First of all, we have to perform full upgrade, and then there's marketing cycle that's supposed to go around, and actually this is now marketing is working quite heavily around that. So it will be.
But there might be the chance that if somebody has a customer there or needs something, that you talk to him and
definitely, yes,
and open up your experience you have right now, probably.
Yes, definitely.
Great, cool.
And there's another one. If there's a connector already available for operations and Dynamics 365 sales.
That's a good question, I have to say.
Yes. So actually, I don't have this knowledge yet. There are some rumors around. We expect the clarity actually during Summit in Seattle, because there's going to be quite a number of sessions about really CDS, how it's working, because it was always promised, and actually, but nobody really saw it really working. So we expect that actually it's finally stabilized and will be live like really soonish.
Okay, that's great to hear, because it's the same question I always take to Corp, and I get feedback as well that there's something coming.
Yes.
And as you said, I think the BizApp Summit, which is the week after the Inspire in Seattle, it's like I think 2 days or plus some trainings around. If you are into business apps and then want to get the latest and greatest for out of a consulting and developer perspective, join us there, because there will be a lot of sessions around that.
Yes, maybe just to add, so last year, a year ago, in Seattle D365 conference, they were presenting CDS that was about 70% working. But now in the agenda, because there are not 4 days, only 2 days, and in the agenda I saw like 2 topics only about CDS.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that it's finally there, actually something really to be proud about. So this is our expectation also, because this is also in our interest, because there are a number of customers that have integrations with CRM and AX 2012, and it's kind of painful for them at the moment, so they're waiting for it.
Great.
Okay, and there's another one. If there are any differences or experiences regarding small versus large enterprise migrations, if there are any economies of scale, maybe if you're on a large one, or do you have any experience you can share?
It's actually for us large and because of course large database and smaller database, of course it affects the time for go live. You're going between 56 or 72 hours. So this is the difference. Another difference is of course how much is modified the solution, because it can be huge enterprise in Denmark going only standard AX and they live perfectly, but it can be small 10 users company in Lithuania and you have only 20% of the standard solution. So it doesn't mean based on the company size that solution is big itself. And it's really based on the how solution is built and what areas are affected. So for instance, if you have warehouse management on IX 2009 heavily modified plus number of integrations, and you want to move to D365 and use standard as much as possible, this is something that's supposed to be analyzed carefully and really re-implemented. And of course the size of that piece re-implementation might be quite heavy. But if, for instance, you have only standard process like finances, procure to pay, sales, maybe manufacturing, and so on, so such solution can be pretty easily moved to a new version.
Okay. So it depends.
It depends.
It depends.
There are none the same projects in IX.
Okay.
Okay, connector operation sales we covered, and there's one question regarding the deployment environment, whether it's only possible into Cloud Dynamics 365, or do you have any experience with regard to the on-premise environment?
Agne, would you like to take this one?
Yeah, hello. So the whole process of upgrading to D365, it isn't really different, whether you go on cloud or on premise. The steps are basically the same. The only difference is actually where you will have the final system, whether it's on your local premise PCs or it will be on a Microsoft Cloud server. But upgrading, making extensions, data migration, this is the same for both approaches, whether you go on cloud or on premise.
Thank you.
That's why we love the platform, actually, I would say. Mm-hmm. Do you have some more questions, Frank?
No. That's about it.
Nope.
There's one, but I think it's already covered. If you see any limitations between Dynamics on cloud versus on-premise upgrade, but I think you covered that.
Okay, so maybe I can say that we like it here very much.
Okay, thank you.
It was very nice experience to kind of and to visit Munich office and to meet you all and to have very nice experience with your team in front of the cameras. So it's actually, thank you for that.
Yeah, nothing to thanks, and thank you so much for your insights around AX and migrations and upgrades and everything. And yeah, it was a joy hosting you here in Munich, and thank you dear audience, for your participation. And as said, it's easy to contact One Click Factory or Microsoft. And if you're around at Inspire or at BizApp Summit, feel free to invite us and to meet there in real life. So thanks so much and have a nice day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.